In a rare move by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, a gas station clerk charged with involuntary manslaughter in connection to a triple shooting, but he was not the shooter.
It symbolizes Detroit on its path to a higher place.
A beautiful and striking piece of art in our city. It's an amazing thing we're going to show you in more detail, and also its connection to Joe Louis Arena. You don't want to miss it, and find out how it represents a renaissance for Detroit. That story is next.
Beacon Park is getting ready to kick off all of these summer events today, from art exhibits to food trucks to music and oh so much more for you and your family to enjoy. Coming up tonight at 5. I'll tell you all about it.
Working for you. Fox 2 News at 5 starts now.
It's a case unlike one we've ever seen before. A Detroit gas station clerk is charged with involuntary manslaughter after a deadly shooting inside of his store.
He didn't possess the gun, but he did lock the door. Fox 2's Jessica Dupnack has more on today's arraignment. Jessica?
Very bold move by prosecutor Kim Worthy, who says that the gas station clerk actually had a hand in this whole thing, locking the door of the gas station, trapping 3 victims along with himself in with the shooter. Apparently, the clerk was in some kind of disagreement with the shooter over $4. So, again, this is a triple shooting, one man losing his life, and it was all over a pop and some donuts.
Hassan Ayash, Your Honor.
A first look at the 22-year-old gas station clerk charged with involuntary manslaughter in relation to a May 6th triple shooting, killing 1 man on Detroit's west side. The trigger puller, allegedly 27-year-old Samuel McCray, trying to leave with about $4 worth of snacks after his purchase was declined.
The concerning thing is what's turned into, somebody getting away with what, $5 worth of goods? I don't know, has now turned into a homicide.
In a rare move by the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Hassan Ayash charged for locking the door, trapping those 3 victims in the store for allegedly 8 minutes. In this surveillance video, you can hear them begging to be let out as the suspect gets angrier before the shooting.
Their theory is to hold him responsible, criminally responsible, for the intentional crime that's committed by somebody else who he does not know.
Ayash's defense attorney says his actions were out of panic, not criminal.
He calls the police and he locks the door so the thief can still be there when the police arrive.
Longtime Detroit-based attorney Todd Perkins, who is not involved in the case, weighs in on the charging decision by prosecutor Kim Worthy. He says involuntary manslaughter fits.
It is unique. It is something different. And the fact that it's different doesn't mean that it shouldn't exist.
It was a participation in escalation of this situation and then locking the door while people were begging to be let out.
The magistrate said in court Friday because Ayash was already on bond for gun charges related to a road rage incident, she could remand him to jail, but decided on this.
Bond is set $200,000 cash, no surety.
That defense attorney, Todd Perkins, who we consulted with on this case, likened it to the situation at Oxford High School. If you remember up there, the prosecutor, Karen McDonald, charged the parents of the shooter with involuntary manslaughter. So he says it's something prosecutors use, but definitely can be a slippery slope. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, certainly this is just the beginning, and there's a long way to go with this case potentially. But Jessica, do we know if the prosecutor based this on anything else that's happened in the past? I mean, to be able to even file these charges, for them to even go through, I was wondering if there was some other sort of precedent set.
Well, the clerk there, he was out on bond when this all happened for a road rage situation involving a weapon. So that probably had something to do with it. Obviously, it seems to be some kind of pattern here with anger and guns. And that's also the reason you saw the very high bond of $200,000 cash only.
All right, we'll have to see what happens with this one. Jessica, thank you.
Also facing a judge today, the suspected serial slasher in Macomb County. This is 31-year-old Shane Burns of Washington Township. He is now charged with first-degree premeditated murder for Wednesday's random attack on 60-year-old Cheryl Ryan Parsley at Bell Tire in Roseville. Following that attack, police say Burns stabbed another random victim, this time at a St. Clair Shores bus stop. 42-year-old Robert Bakey was stabbed 8 times and was released from the hospital yesterday. Burns now charged with assault with intent to murder. In that case, tonight, we've learned he was combative at the police station and he had an arsenal of weapons. We'll have much more on this story coming up on Fox 2 News at 6.
A carjacking in Garden City turns into a high-speed chase and ends at a cemetery in Dearborn. Police say 2 suspects in a Kia carjacked a Chrysler 300 this morning at Cherry Hill near Outer Drive. Then the suspects, one in each vehicle, led officers on a 100-mile-an-hour chase. At one point, the Chrysler 300 plowed through a steel fence and rolled onto gravestones at Mount Kelly Cemetery in Dearborn. The chase involving the Kia ended off I-96 near Evergreen in Detroit. Nobody was hurt, and both suspects are in custody.
Let's get a check on the weather now. It is going to be a rainy night around here. The rain's already hitting here in Southfield.
Yes, it has. And it's warm out there, though, so maybe at least the temperatures will continue. Fox 2 meteorologist Stephanie Mead has more on what we can expect for the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So luckily, it's not going to be a complete washout this weekend, but you notice right behind that cold front, we are looking at slightly cooler temperatures from the Dakotas, where you're in the 60s right now, all the way down to Kansas City, where you see temps barely making it out of the 50s. We're still hovering in the lower 70s here this evening. I think as we get deeper on into your evening, though, we'll see those numbers go down. We have a few showers right now straddled across the state from central parts of Michigan all the way out near Jackson. That's extending into portions of even Southfield, as mentioned before. Some lighter rain here in the metro area, and I would anticipate seeing that possibility of a stray shower on and off through the rest of this evening and overnight. Our temperatures, too, will hover in the mid-60s by around 9. By 11 o'clock, we should be in the lower 60s as we head through the overnight and early tomorrow morning. It does look nicer, though, as we head through the end of this weekend and through next week. We'll show you if we reach 80 in the forecast here in just a few minutes. Rup and Taryn.
Oh, boy. All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Well, Joe Louis Arena has been torn down, but part of the building will live on.
It's such an iconic building, so many great memories, and their Detroit artists used pieces of it to create a new sculpture for the Riverwalk. Fox 2's Hillary Golston gives us a closer look.
The artists say they've been Red Wings season ticket holders for a very long time, practically their entire lives. So it seemed just appropriate to them and natural to integrate parts of the now demolished Joe Louis Arena. And if you are from the city, it's part of your story. It's part of Detroit's story, something that unites all of us together in such a beautiful way.
In front of this piece of art that recognizes the resilience of our beloved city of Detroit.
A prayer for the city of Detroit about who we are and what we represent, manifested in part in works of art like this, celebrating our Renaissance through multiple symbols.
It symbolizes Detroit on its path to a higher place. The glass symbolizes the precious water that we all love so much.
Friday, the 42-foot sculpture dedicated. It contains pieces of Joe Louis Arena, our past boldly before us and repurposed.
You want to think about what it means to the city, taking materials from Joe Louis Arena, which will live forever in many of our hearts. I was there that night in 1997 when Darren McCarty scored that goal against the Flyers to win the Stanley Cup.
The path of life is along the Grand Boulevard Promenade at Riverside Park.
Step through the door and your journey will begin. And I think that's something that as Detroiters we can really understand that our journey has begun, and for the Joe Louis Greenway and the partnership, we're on this journey with the city to ensure that beautiful parks and beautiful spaces extend from the amazing world-renowned riverfront into the neighborhoods in Detroit.
The artists here, the Nordine brothers, also met with community members on the meaning of the park, the meaning of living in Detroit in that area, so it would be truly authentic and feel real and be a story about all Detroiters. The piece was commissioned and donated to the city by the Adamo family. Hillary Golston, Fox 2 News.
Well, here's another reason to head down to the city this summer.
Beacon Park is ready to kick off its season of fun events. Fox News' Liz Lewin has a preview.
You know we're going to have a good time. It's going to be wonderful.
Warmer temps bring more activities for you and your family to enjoy outdoors.
It's beautiful to have like the work in this space and outside with it, because at the end of the day, when you're creating, you feel like it's a connection to nature, it's a connection to people.
And there's no shortage of space out here, parks included across Detroit. That includes right here, Beacon Park, which is gearing up to kick off a new season, one filled with fun activities, food, music, and a rotation of pop-ups, weekend after weekend. This weekend, you can expect to see some amazing artwork, compliments of the Detroit Fine Arts Breakfast Club.
This year, which is our third year, they asked us to present a art showcase of Detroit artists, local artists, who practice their work here in the Detroit area.
All the more reason to host a pop-up outside with the community.
Well, it's a great location because it's in the heart of downtown Detroit, which is a very good thing. Number two, lots of exposure. Number three, we're here in the space. So much traffic goes through here, the sports teams, all kinds of things.
This 3-day Gallery on the Go features a variety of unique, one-of-a-kind art for sale, many of which were made by young, up-and-coming Detroit artists.
All that young people lack is experience, so what better way to do that than, put them on the walls, give them an opportunity, and that's why I'm so happy to be with these people.
For more information on all the events here at Beacon Park, you can visit our website at fox2detroit.com. Liz Lewin, Fox 2 News.